Greetings from Mother City of Cape Town here in South Africa, folks. This is Chris. I hope you're having a joyous and wonderful Easter holiday as we celebrate the resurrection of Christ on this very important day for Christians around the world. So this morning I want to briefly talk about the delusional behavior of the African National Congress and political parties here in South Africa. The Government of National Unity was an agreement formed by the Democratic Alliance and the African National Congress in the aftermath of May 29th, 2024 elections, in which the ANC found itself as a plurality party, but not a majority party for the first time in its history. Bit of a shocker for them, a bit of a comeuppance. So the solution was to form a coalition with the Democratic Alliance. But of course, ANC being duplicitous and also knowing that that would not sit very well with their voters historically, they decided to betray that, go behind the Democratic Alliance's back, and invite 8 other parties into this Government of National Unity, which the DA didn't agree to. They did on their own. So here's the situation. We have an agreement. The coalition exists because the DA and ANC formed an agreement. This talk recently because the DA wouldn't support this ridiculous budget that doesn't curb spending, that increases the value-added tax and impoverishes black South Africans and other poor South Africans. The DA did support that. And because of that, there's talk that they want to kick the DA and the Freedom Front Plus, who vote against the budget, out of the Government of National Unity. Well, that's impossible. Perhaps you can kick the Freedom Front Plus out because they're a Johnny-come-lately along with the other 8 parties. But the Democratic Alliance is a founding member of the coalition. The coalition does not exist without the Democratic Alliance. Now, this is not a pro-DA video. This is not an anti-ANC video. This is simply a video pointing out the obvious, something apparently I need to educate the South African press on. They seem determined to tell everybody that the ANC has the ability to kick people out of the coalition. Freedom Front Plus, perhaps, but not the DA. The ANC cannot kick the DA out, but the DA cannot kick the ANC out. The two of them can agree to absolve their agreement, which would cause the coalition to fall apart. The ANC cannot govern with the other parties. It needs the DA. So the press really need to learn how to do a little research and learn about this thing. It's getting quite annoying here. This constant nonsense about kicking the DA out. Well, now, the reason I'm talking about this story on Easter Sunday is because what has come out today is that the ANC is now using the recent Social Research Foundation polls to show that their support is slipping, to point out that they need to keep the coalition together. They must keep the Freedom Front Plus. They must keep the DA in order to have a government. Well, that's not true either. That's not true either. The ANC can rule as a plurality party in Parliament. However, they won't get anything passed unless they can bribe other parties. With 40% of the vote, they can rule. They're the largest party. This is how coalition politics work, or lack of coalition. Look at Europe. 40% for one party is a miracle in Europe. Virtually no party can ever achieve even close to that figure in Europe these days. So the South African political system, the polity, needs to become accustomed to the situation that you currently have. The ANC can rule as a plurality party. And actually, that's probably the best thing for South Africa, folks, because if they can't pass legislation, they can't sap your liberty. They can't take your freedom. They can't take your firearms. They can't take your property. They can't take your lives if they do not have a ruling coalition. Right now, what good is the Government of National Unity for South Africans? We've seen the ANC president go ahead and sign the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act, crushing local control over education and forcing 94% of the South Africans who don't speak English as a first language to be taught in English in primary school. It's abusive. We've seen the 3% black tax, an abomination put on companies to finance through patronage projects the black tax. And then we've also seen the expropriation without compensation, stealing land from lawful landowners at the whim of any politician at the national, the provincial, and even the local level. Politicians can steal your land, claiming it's in the public interest and giving you zero compensation. So what good has the Government of National Unity brought to South Africa? Nothing. Nothing. Once again, the ANC can rule on their own, but they won't go anywhere. And that's probably in the best interest of all South Africans. The DA can't rule. They only have a little over 20%. So they need to work together. But the ANC can't kick the DA out. The DA can't kick the ANC out. This is an agreement between those two parties. If they want to break the agreement, they can break the agreement. But the press needs to start paying attention to what's actually transpired in South Africa over the past year, instead of sticking their nose up the skirts of political parties for favor and access. Tell the truth, be honest. Journalism is about reporting the facts and the information. You can have opinion, and you can share your opinion, but you need to be factual when you're reporting things. All right, folks, I hope that's helpful and informative. It explains things a little bit better about what's going on this Easter Sunday. as the ANC still runs around acting as if they can kick people out. If you're wondering why they haven't kicked the DA out, all this nonsense about the budget, and we hear Paul Mashatile calling the DA treasonous and all these other things, and all these politicians of the ANC running their mouths about the DA, yet they haven't been kicked out. Gee, I wonder why. Probably because they can't be kicked out. That's not the nature of the agreement. The shortcoming of the agreement is they didn't come up with proper terms, simply an agreement to work together, but not specific terms for arbitration on disputes within the coalition. Anyway, this Easter Sunday, from the mother city of Cape Town, after Stormers' victory right down the street here at DHL Greenpoint Stadium last night, we just slipped out with a victory on that one. Thankfully, it overturned that try at the end because of obstruction. Congratulations to the Stormers last night, and I hope wishing you all a wonderful, safe, and prosperous Easter here from the Western Cape. God bless.